Morning, everyone. It is 9:09 on my Cordaro Jewelers Watch this beautiful Wednesday, May 20th, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because we are dominant across the globe. It's also the place for the brave. Like the veterans we will salute today. Thanks to John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today. Like Garf Green of Clark Summit. Brian Taylor of Kingsley. Lee Baker of Trucksville. James Battle, Scranton. Patrick Zader, Montdale. And Joseph Mezekevich, Hunlock Creek. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our irreplaceable, incredible, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not, could not, would not, and never would be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. Our founding fathers knew that government power, because of human nature and its willingness to abuse that power, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect an organized society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups or controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and even freedom of the press, no matter how it's abused. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. Such silliness will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly, and their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, designed and sadly necessary to help save our great republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness. These things can bring down this noble and incredibly successful experiment, and it's our duty to prevent it. Well, guys, we're here. Day after election. And I found it on Instagram. I love Instagram. By the way, I hope you like our little modified open. That Kevin James thing that brings tears to my eyes every time I hear it. Start your engines. And it's a great way to start the program with me in a lather. In a positive lather, though. But I go through Instagram, and I think it was posted by David Harris Jr., who's got some great stuff. I follow him. 2008. Barack Obama, 69 million votes. 2012, Barack Obama, 65 million votes. 2016, Hillary Clinton, 65 million votes. 2020, Joe Biden, a confused goofball, 81 million votes. And then Kamala Harris last year, or 24, 68 million votes. This will never make sense. And it's just one of those things. Don't ever forget it. And don't let them poo-poo you when you say something doesn't make any sense. This does not. Something happened there that will not be explained. It can't be proven, but we know it happened, just so you know. And with that, Brian Hughes is in for just a little bit of an election roundup. I thought that was appropriate because I started asking, well, who won the and our newspaper doesn't cover these things because they suck.
It's yesterday's news, I think, is the problem there.
So we're the news source. So I said, let's be the source. My first question I asked was Jason Ritchie, Lieutenant Governor, who was in here on Monday with the great Stacey Garrity. How'd that turn out?
Well, it worked out well for Ritchie. He won the Republican Lieutenant Governor primary over former business executive John Ventry last night. And, of course, Stacey Garrity ran unopposed for the governor's race. And on the Democratic side, Josh Shapiro ran unopposed. So we kind of expected that to happen.
So there was some contested primaries. For example, State Senator Marty Flynn had a contest.
Yes, he did. He won his primary, like 68 to 31% for Jeffrey Lake, his opponent, who was a newcomer to politics, and he held up fairly well. I went to the debate, actually, at the University of Scranton.
He was a jackass. He said, oh, Marty Flynn, MAGA, Marty Flynn, God almighty. Stop the nonsense. I say this, and I'm like, well, why do these people have to lie? Stop lying. Just run and say, I'm better than him or her. Why not that? Try that for so refreshing a change. Anyway, okay, so we had another Senate primary, and that was Lisa Baker.
Yes.
Talk to me.
No one missed out on that. Everybody knew Lisa Baker was running against Tyler Myers because every other commercial was either Lisa Baker or Tyler Myers.
Which, by the way, we appreciate here.
Yeah.
Pays our salaries.
Well, this is the first primary challenge that Lisa Baker's had since she won her state Senate seat 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a different situation for her. But she hung on. She got 54% of the vote, and Tyler Myers got 45%. So it might have been a little closer than people expected.
That was a real threat. So. All right. So does she? There has to be a Democrat opponent, I guess. Right?
Yeah. She'll be running in November against her Democratic opponent.
And I know Marty Flynn has a Republican opponent because I voted for her.
That's right.
All right. And I'm getting you down in the weeds. Maybe you're not ready for this. State committee, because a lot of these people had called in.
Yeah, I don't really have too many results on that one, but the 8th Congressional District.
Yeah, that'd be nowhere to be found, actually. Yeah. All right. Maybe some of you state committee candidates, or even just one of you, will call in and tell me who won for state committee, particularly Lackawanna County, where it was contested.
All right. So we know the 8th Congressional District, Rob Bresnahan, the incumbent, won the Republican nomination, and Paige Cognetti, the mayor of Scranton, ran unopposed in the Democratic nomination. So.
What were the vote totals, just out of curiosity, of each?
Well, the vote turnout.
We don't have that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty low, actually. Yeah. I mean, the chairman of elections in Luzerne County, chairperson there, said that voter turnout, they figured about just under 27%, which is a sin because you can't blame the weather for it. In fact, you want to get in out of the heat just to go in and vote. Yeah. But quite a few.
And I got to say this, and I said this to the poll workers at the Scranton High School. Thank you. Just thank you for being there all day. They pay you very little. And it is a 12-plus hour day, and thank you for doing it.
It's a grind, but a couple times a year, we kind of need you.
Very much so. Any surprises, anything that jumped out and you said, wow, how about this?
I'd say the closeness of the Baker-Myers race, just because there was so much money on both sides going into it, I guess that made it close. It's going to be interesting to see if that's going to weaken Lisa Baker's support in the general election.
I think that's a safely Republican seat. And I think common sense will come back and say, we can't lose Lisa Baker, dear Lord. But All right, so no big surprises.
No.
We moved ahead. Things got done. People voted, and all right.
Now, who's going to take the signs down? That's my big question. I think I'm not going to say they'll lose. I'll say the runner-up maybe should just take all the signs down. And
Yeah.
just save them for next time. Just cross out the 26 or 28 if they plan on running again. They'll simplify. The one race that's interesting was Eddie Day Pashinsky stepped down, and that became an open seat.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Wilkes-Barre councilperson Jessica McClay won the Democratic nomination there by a 62 to 37% vote, and the Republican is Mike Harrowstock, so that's who she'll face.
Harrowstock's a good guy. I met him. Okay, good. Then that's all set up.
Yep.
All right. Well, Brian Hughes, thank you for checking in. We appreciate it very much.
Just surprised you didn't give me hell for wearing a Yankee shirt today.
Well, I brought the Yankees to Northeast Pennsylvania. I have no hatred there.
Okay. Well, as a Red Sox fan, there should be a natural hatred there. But I'm glad to hear it.
And anybody that you like, I'm fine with.
Okay.
Even your Commanders, well, the Redskins.
That wasn't my idea, Bob. That was, I don't know why they did that.
Well, it was people of your ilk that took the political correctness.
Perhaps. But out of a list of 100 things that Native Americans care about, I'm sure that's well down in the 90s,
That's
if it's even on the list.
To be honored by having a football team named
Exactly.
after them. Yeah. All right, well, we'll take our break. We'll come back with hear from our great sponsors, a little history, a little music. Thanks to Brian Hughes. We'll return. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. I'm really going crazy with my mulberry bush honey here today. I just love it. Just a reminder, they're not on Mulberry Street in Scranton anymore. They're up at Hopkins Farm, River Road Falls. Something came to mind I was going to say, and then passed just as fleetingly. Dear Lord Almighty. Oh, I just want to mention quickly, and we're going to talk a lot about him. It is, and it's emblematic of the sickness that has overtaken the Democrat Party. Their nominee for United States Senate in Maine. It's fascinating. He's got a thing, and I haven't seen it yet, and I'm going to look for it. He's making fun of our own area's Teddy Daniels, the great Teddy Daniels, who's getting shot at in combat. And it continues to be bad, not just that he's a Nazi. Oh, and by the way, here's an actual Nazi. And the Democrats are all silent and, in fact, endorsing him. Graham Plattner in Maine. But he also boasted of masturbating in porta potties. This is a sick bastard. It is the mental illness that's the culmination of the policies of the Democrat Party. Scary and disgusting. All right, so I asked somebody to call and tell us what happened with State Committee, and here's our man, Mark Payne. Mark, how are you, brother?
I'm good, Bob. I'm good. It's a good day.
So tell me, what were the results in Lackawanna County for State Committee? There was a lot of people on that ballot.
There was. Two good women actually won the spots for the women spot of it, which is good. Lorraine Cummings, our old county commissioner, she came in, and Lynn Kukinda, who's a diehard Republican and works very tirelessly for any of the candidates. Okay. On the guy's side,
so Robin didn't make it.
Robin, unfortunately, did not make it.
Okay, she's been great for the Republicans. She really has.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. She's a hard worker. I made it, which I'm happy, and I want to thank everybody for voting for me. So that's good. Frank Scavo and Mike Giannetta.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So that's your top 5 people that'll be representing Lackawanna County down in Harrisburg this year.
Well, and
for the next 4 years.
And I will tell you, I think you guys will have, as a delegation, an outsized influence, because I think the Republicans are perplexed at how seemingly normal people, meaning the people of Lackawanna County, vote like sick brains when the elections come around because they're such dummycrats.
It's mind-boggling. It really is. It is crazy.
But we love them. We love the people of Lackawanna County nevertheless. But they are really addled when it comes to politics, man.
I mean, sometimes, and then when you try to have discussions with them, and they just don't believe facts, and I'm amazed. I'm still in shock over a lot of it.
Well, it's like the whole Democrat Party, the Democrat Party writ large. It's childish emotion versus fact, truth, and reality, and they haven't acknowledged it yet. But it could happen all at once. We'll remain eternally hopeful, Mark Payne. And so, congratulations, Mark. Thanks for running and for putting the effort in. And I know you'll do whatever is necessary to help normal people get elected.
Absolutely. And again, thank you everybody that came out yesterday.
All right, Mark Payne. Thank you, brother. 9:30 on the nose. That's what it says on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. Well, that means we've got to hear from our sponsors. That also means that the Veterans Tribute's coming, the weather. What else is coming? Not this hour. The Bulldog will tell me when. We've got more Journey tickets for that Friday, November 6th concert at the Meekin Arena at Casey Plaza. So stay tuned throughout the morning. I haven't decided, and the Bulldog hasn't decided when we're going to do it. But let's hear from our sponsors. Let's do the Veterans Tribute, the weather and all that. And remember, we got Journey tickets in one of our next hours. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day, is brought to you proudly by John Basiliga, a great friend of the veterans. Well, it's Wednesday already. I can't even believe it, but it is. And that means we start to think about the weekend, and Wednesday night's a fun night. So we think of Basiliga Hospitality, 3 great bar restaurants. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern. The reimagined neighborhood tradition in the Trips Park section of Scranton. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. All of them are just great. And then we think fine dining, there's no place further to go. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre, South Franklin Street. Old world take on an amazing dining experience. And by the way, if you like a bar, it's in one of the greatest rooms in a mansion with Annie at the helm. A Terra 519. Love it, love it, love it. And they've got an amazing happy hour. 4 to 6. Mixed drinks, $10. Craft beer's $6, wine $9. Yeah, you could afford it, Tara. Don't worry about it. Check it out. You'll be very happy you did. Garfield Garf Green. He was 90 when we lost him May 3rd. He was from Clark Summit. Preceded in death in 1996 by his first love and wife, Julie Fedor Green. And then sadly in 2021 by his second wife, Sonia Gull Green. He was also preceded in death in 1956, tragically, by his infant daughter, Mary Magdalene Green. Born in Scranton, 1954, graduate of West Scranton High School. He attended classes at Dickinson School of Law in Carlisle. But then he did more. He proudly served all of us as a United States Marine. And then, as a Scranton cop, he retired from the Scranton Police Department as a sergeant in charge of the traffic division. As well as serving as a deputy sheriff for Lackawanna County, he also worked for the Attorney General's office. He was proud to follow the family tradition of serving the people of the city of Scranton, Lackawanna County, and the state of Pennsylvania. Garf was an avid sportsman, fishing, hunting. Surviving his 3 sons, his 8 grandchildren, 2 step-grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and other family members. A great legacy. Garf Green. Brian Taylor, he was 87. He was from Kingsley. We lost him May 4th. Born at Cottle Lake, Clifford Township. Brian was a U.S. Army veteran serving in Germany. 9 months his wife was there with him. His work life included heavy vehicle mechanics, metal fabrication, road oil emulsions. He was the plumber, electrician, all-around handyman at home for his entire adult life. Dedicated board member of the Maplewood Cemetery Association in Kingsley for over 40 years. Brian Taylor was a farmer at heart. He started by helping his grandfather, Win Taylor, summers on his farm at Cottrell Lake. And that farm became his forever home in his heart. He was a helper to all in need and a friend to many. Brian is survived by the love of his life, his wife of 66 years, Mary Jane Wilmarth Taylor, 2 daughters, a brother, 9 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren. Tragically preceded in death by a daughter, Rebecca, a grandchild, Gentry Gordon, 2 great-grandchildren, Holden Wayman and Brian Pazazik, and an infant brother, way back when, Carl Dean Taylor. Brian Taylor, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast brought to us by the great gang up at Montage Mountain. I wish the water park was open. Man, would that be great. Today, periods of clouds and sunshine, couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon somewhere, high 85. Tonight, cooler, a little rain late, low 50. So tomorrow back to, I guess, cooler temperatures, less humid. Thick cloud cover in the morning, then times of clouds and sun in the afternoon. But it'll get up to 69 on Thursday, low 45. Friday, nice day. Some sun, then increasing clouds. It'll be 73, low 47. Saturday, or as Cutie says, Saturday, cooler with rain. Outdoor plans can be impacted. It's the race of the Saints on Saturday. Darn it. High 55, low 51. Sunday, cloudy with a couple of showers. High 62, low 55. And I heard Joe Snedeker say that it might be about 70 on Monday for actual Memorial Day. Let us not forget what it is all about. Please, let's not do that. And that's your weather, brought to you by your friends at Montage Mountain, where it's 79 degrees as we deliver this report. What a great song, huh? This date, 1957, the Everly Brothers. They debuted on the charts with their first hit single, Bye Bye Love. And, of course, more and more black and African-American commentators have had enough of the Democrat Party lies. They've had enough. And we play them all the time here. It's a disgrace. And I'm just talking about this, and it's what I said for, like, referencing Lisa Baker's opponent, referencing in the primary, referencing Marty Flynn's opponent in the Democrat primary in Lackawanna County, U.S. State Senate. Just say what you're going to do. Don't lie about the other candidate. I actually think they would do much better. I really do. You're talking about longtime neighbors and friends. Like what their performance is or not. In Lisa Baker and Marty Flynn. And you start talking about how horrible they are. Like this fool Lake, he called Marty a MAGA. Marty's voting record is disgraceful. He goes with the left wing almost all the time. So, I mean, why do you have to lie? I don't know. Anyway, this weekend. Now, Friday's going to be great. Thursday's going to be great weather. Sunday's going to be good weather. Monday's going to be good weather. Saturday, man, when that beautiful race of the Saints is happening, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look like, it's not horrible, whatever, but not good. But there's something else that happens every year for the entire weekend up in Jessup. That's why it's so much fun to go up there every day. And my man Dominic Perini's on the blower, and he's with Jessup Hose Company number what? What number are you?
2.
Number 2, okay. Is there still a number 1?
Yes, there is.
How about that? All right, well, Jessup Hose Company number 2, and you've got your big carnival this whole weekend.
34 years, buddy, 34 years.
Love it.
Listen, first of all, I want to thank you for all you do for the veterans. You are
That's John Basiliga. That ain't me. I'm just the mouthpiece.
Thank John Basiliga. John Basiliga does a lot for a lot of folks.
Yes,
and
he does.
He's a great man and has great companies. And we have his founding company right here in Jessup, Eastern Roofing.
Yep.
So that's where he started. Mm-hmm. That's where he could put 1 million, 2 million square feet of roofing on any building you want. And that's where he started. And God bless him that he loves Scranton. God bless him that he loves northeastern Pennsylvania.
Dominic, we'll have to have you call in when I'm doing his little when I'm doing a little message regarding it. We'll have you call in. You're better than me.
Well, you do a great job, Bob. But anyway, going back to the carnival, it's our 34th year, and we have, of course, entertainment every night. We have a pay one price right special every night. We have great bands every night. If they want to see what bands are playing rather than me trying to read them off, which doesn't matter anyway, but they could go to our website, which is www.jessupno2.com.
Jessupno2.com.
Right, .com.
You can skip the WWs. They happen anyway.
Yeah, but the most important thing is Sunday night we have the tribute band that's going to be a tribute to Toby Keith. So it's the first time we're doing country as a tribute band because a lot of people have asked us for that. So we're going to do the tribute band to Toby Keith, Flatland Ruckus, courtesy. It's 8 to midnight.
Nice.
So it might be a nice show for them to see. You probably heard that Santa Baldo Day on May 15th in Gubbio, Italy was rained out. Not that it didn't go on, but it was pouring all day long. It was pouring. It was really, really bad. And hopefully we'll have a good – I know they're calling for spotty rain on Saturday, but hopefully it won't rain when the race goes on because you'll have the Race of the Saints on Saturday. And on Friday night you'll have our big Fireman's Parade starting at 6:30. And it's just going to be a grand week. So – if
it is awesome, man. Dominic, I got to tell you, and I say this about the volunteer firemen all the time. You guys are actually raising money to save other people's lives and property. And it still astonishes me. And so all we have to do, it's like I tell people, you don't have to storm the beaches at Normandy. You've got to go vote. And I'll say the same thing. You don't have to fight the fire and risk your lives and take on all the training and all the time. You've got to go and enjoy yourself. That's all you have to do to help the volunteer fire companies. But in this case, Jessup Hose #2 over the weekend. It's an easy task.
That's all you have to do, my friend.
Yeah.
That's all they have to do. And the sad part is we our newest fire truck that we have is over 20 years old, and we're looking at a new fire truck, and we can't look at anything less than $1 million,
Yeah.
$1.2 million, $1.3 million,
Wow.
and that's not for like a super duper looper. That's just a basic rescue truck.
But you could face all kinds of sophisticated fire and hazmat situations, so you've got to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the cost to dress one firefighter is almost $9,000 today. It's just off the wall. I mean, it really is off the wall. And we try our very best to support everybody. We help other communities.
Well, Dominic,
do whatever we can.
have to go, but you call in again Friday, would you please? Jessup
Sure,
Hose
sure.
Company,
Thank you.
#2, all this weekend in Jessup. We'll be back. It's 9:50. I'm a Cordaro. Watch. Didn't you always think that song was Some Girls? Well, Murph corrects us here. This date, 1967, the Turtles moving up the charts with their hit, She'd Rather Be With Me. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. Somebody texted in, your favorite politician, Paige Cognetti, is WNEP all week on Veterans Views. Joe from Slocum says. I think Veterans Views is with Tommy Munley on WYOU. I may not bother to, but believe me, I won't bother to tune in, and that would be so completely inappropriate. But I'd believe anything at this point. Somebody takes in, hey, Bozo, care to explain today how Trump and Sums granted forever immunity from existing tax audits? All I'll say is this, and this is all I know. Trump sued the IRS because a contractor for the IRS went crazy and released tax returns of Trump, his family, and about 500 of his companies to the world illegally. And Trump sued. And now they've settled the suit. And by the way, never going to look good when you're the sitting president, a settlement. So I don't, you can interpret it how you wish. If you're a Trump hater, you're a Trump hater. There's nothing, you would have hated it. By the way, it doesn't matter what he does. If he cures cancer, as they say, you're going to be for cancer. If he walks on water, you're going to say he doesn't know how to swim. So I can't help you. You've got Trump derangement syndrome. But that settlement came out. The failure by the IRS was incredibly egregious. So I don't have a problem with a settlement. It's very hard to parse when you're actually in charge as president of the United States. It's very hard to have it ever look fair. So I'm not gonna spend my time on that. I really not. You spend your time on it and whatever else you hate Trump for. That's fine. And please try to explain to me the sick, twisted, demented policies of the Democrats you support. Please try that. Somebody says Bob LTS, the Republican Party would win in a landslide in November if it wasn't for these high gas prices. They must be addressed by the 4th of July. Yeah, Trump needs to resolve this Iran war and Strait of Hormuz before it's too late. I would be raising heaven and earth to open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump, I'm telling you, he loves these servicemen and women. He doesn't want to risk any lives unnecessarily for his or the Republican Party's political fortunes. And I'm proud of him for that. I'm frustrated with it, but I'm proud. I would have gone in and done whatever had to be done at whatever cost to open the strait almost from the beginning. But it is dangerous. We've got to put troops on the ground where they're firing into the strait or where they have the possibility of firing, and he's not going to do it. He's going to do it. They're doing it slowly, deliberately, and safely. And I give him even if I disagree with it, I give him all the credit in the world. I give him all the credit in the world. All right. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:02. That means it's time for Brian Hughes and the news. We'll come back after that. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. No, I'm not. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:10 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch this beautiful Wednesday, May 20th, year of our Lord 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate and remember today, thanks to John. Like Brian Taylor of Kingsley, Garfield Garf Green, Clark Summit, but he was a Scranton cop. Lee Baker, Trucksville. James Battle, Scranton, another great Scranton cop. Patrick Zater, Montdale. And Joseph, and I'm Polish, Maciej Jacek. He's from Hunlock Creek. So, with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue the battle. Let us continue the fight. Let's make it happen. And we gavel back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you who are sitting around saying, what? What did they just say? And you hear it in academia. You hear it in the media. You hear it with public employee union leaders. You hear it in foundations. You hear it in NGOs, nonprofits. Lunacy. Self-serving lunacy. So we will, because of our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense, provide a sanctuary of sanity for all who hearken here. Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, May 20th. To do God's work, you need a few things. We need the health of mind and body. We need the ability to learn. We need plenty of common sense and a cheerful disposition. I think common sense and cheerfulness are very necessary if we are to bring God's love to as many people as possible. And very few, if any, ever did that, delivered love the way our great St. Teresa did. Amazing stuff. So let me just clarify on something. One of our veterans, and because I'm Polish and Slovak, I sort of pride myself that I speak fluent, not the language, but I could do names. So one of our great veterans today, who were battling over the pronunciation, Brian Hughes looked it up. And it appears to be Maciej Jacek. It's Maciejaszek. Now, I'm sure this great veteran had his name Joseph Maciej Jacek, has had his name mispronounced his whole life. I don't want to do it here, especially when we get to his tribute at 11:30. So thanks to Brian for bringing that in. We're going to do our best with that one because we are proud of him. We're proud of his service. And so is our man, John Basiliga. Somebody texted, Bob, Eddie Day finally threw in the towel. It's amazing these politicians must believe they're going to live to be 150 years old. Enough already. Well, you know, here's the funny thing. And this is why, as harsh as my criticism of the politicians might be, I met Eddie Day, gosh, it had to be 20 times, maybe more. Pleasant, nice, ever-present smile. His voting record was atrocious, actually sickening. But I don't dislike him. But he, like so many Democrats, and I don't understand the pathology, but like so many Democrats, I was talking about my old friend Matt Cartwright and Bob Casey yesterday. They just went off the deep end along with the party, which to me says they were followers, not leaders. My God, if I was a Democrat, the last thing I would have happen would be to have Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries tell me what to think. You think it's insanity. And by the way, they may not like me anymore, but it doesn't mean I don't like them. Another texter, one of our listeners, Lisa Baker's a rhino, and went through a whole list of things that mostly are not true, but okay. Why didn't we take all that money and what I had him on the air. I'm forgetting his last name, Miles, whatever. And I don't say that disparaging. I just don't remember his name. Why don't you take all that money and all the effort and run against a damn Democrat? The hell's the matter with you? Anyway. Slick texted in. He heard Rock Around the Clock. And he said, does that song remind me of a much simpler time? Loved Happy Days. The good old days. Yeah, well, you know, that's why we play it. That's why we play it. Kim says, Bob LTS, you can't vote for the same things and people and expect different results. You're right. Somebody says Cognetti won yesterday. Well, she didn't run against anybody. Very scary indeed. Let's also remember that people actually voted for Kamala Harris, too. We must keep our eye on the prize. Make no assumptions. Vote every election, says Music Man. Bob LTS, the country can never go back to the Biden administration policies. Harris and Gavin Newsom never objected to Biden when Joe Biden was in office. Somebody else, Bob, how many people voted yesterday? Brian Hughes reported on it, 27%. That's embarrassing. Even in a primary where not much was happening. By the way, I'm waiting to see what happened. I wrote myself in following instructions that I think Mark Payne gave me. I wrote myself in for committee man. Let's see what happens. I don't think I'm going to spend the time. But I figured if I become the committee man, I can appoint somebody in my place. Somebody says, I saw a pothole page on Veterans Views. And they just give her the floor. I had to turn it off. What? How is she on Veterans Views? That's insane. So actually now it's confirmed. Whoever's doing it should be ashamed of themselves. The hell does she have to do with veterans, number one? Number two, how is she getting a platform during an election? Somebody said off topic, but I vote all the time, and I voted today. But yesterday. But I started to get tired of my lazy-ass Republicans dragging their feet, making everything's going to be roses at the end of the day. And then that's when the Democrats slide in and ruin it. You're 100% right. This is all about this fall is all about getting normal people to vote. They're not influenced by the left. They're not left-wing lunatics. And we are the majority. We're not enamored of any party, just common sense and the better candidates. And unfortunately, and I do mean that, unfortunately, the better candidates are almost all Republicans. And that is not healthy. That is not a good thing. Scott texts in. He says, LTS, I don't think you should respond to people that start out by calling you names. I don't know. Some names are funny. Bozo. I always thought Bozo was... I don't know. It always makes me giggle. So you call me a bozo. What do I care? You've given me an opportunity to respond. And I'll take the opportunity. But anyway, I don't think you should start out by calling your names I thought I always heard that if you call people names, it's because you don't have much to say, your friend Scott. Scott, you're right about that. And again, if somebody calls me a bozo or a criminal or convict, whatever, it does say more about them than me. And that's why I say it. By the way, I'm impossible to offend. I don't even remember the last time. Impossible. So, and I've been in enough embarrassing situations, I'm impossible to embarrass. Those are two things that are pretty, let's put it this way, impossible is the wrong word. I have an incredibly high threshold regarding embarrassment and an incredibly high threshold regarding being offended. So, Wild Bill checking in. You keep up your good work, Wild Bill. Somebody's, why can't we just bomb the heck out of Hormuz? The thing is this, quickly, and I've gone over time, but the areas from which they could launch drones, the tiny ships that they can use to mine the Strait of Hormuz. Now, it's about 20 miles wide, so that's a pretty big area. But there's only so many sea lanes within the 20 miles, so it's not a 20 miles you got to cover. But they can fire from so many places, and our big ships could have problems, our big naval vessels. Now, I know we've got ways to do this. I've seen our technology regarding mini subs, unmanned submarines, all of that. I just think we've got to say, all right, we're opening that strait, number one, but you're going to have to put boots on the ground in Iran because there's so many areas from which they could fire at shipping. And all we have to do is say, oh, we've got it open, you've got escorts, and lose a ship or suffer extreme damage. And you might as well close it. So it's got to be done flawlessly or not at all. But I would tell President Trump, go where you have to go to open that strait. The world economy is at risk. And you can't have these sick Islamist Lilliputians controlling the world economy. That's the entire point of the exercise. Somebody says, Bob, the only reason why Cognetti would have been on Veterans News is because Rob Bresnan was on that show a few weeks ago, and she's trying to play catch-up with Rob. So maybe. Yeah. Somebody says, spell the name again. That's of our veteran. So I want to spell it. And Brian looked this up, but it's M-A-C-I-E, M-A-C-I-E, J-A-S-Z-E-K. And it says to pronounce the Polish surname with that spelling, say Maciejaszek. Maciejaszek. I'll have it nailed by the time we get to his tribute at 11:30. Well, I'll try to nail it by that time anyway. Tommy Miley allowed the mayor to be on. Ask him. I don't know Tommy Miley. Oh, Tommy Mundley. Oh, I'll ask Tommy. But if you have one, you have to have the other. That I understand. So if Rob was on it, fine. Somebody says Tyler Myers, okay, and my apologies for not remembering his last name, made an excellent showing for a young man and veteran struggling to raise a family. What a good showing, no embarrassment. No, I don't think he should be embarrassed. I don't like the harshness of the campaign. And I don't like him lying about the other candidate. He said when he called in, and I let him come on whenever he called in, that she was a liberal. Well, stop it. Stop the silliness. Here you are, you're a veteran, a family guy. You got a lot to talk about positively about yourself. So she had a good showing. But with that kind of money, I could have had a good showing, being frank. I could have had a good showing. In any event. Hey, Tyler Myers, you put yourself in the race. You ran hard. I don't like the way your campaign was or the tone of it, but that's me. And you need credit and deserve credit for that. So good for you. But the right person won, in my view, Lisa Baker. All right. We got to go. We got to take this break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will return. Our Veterans Tribute, as always, brought to you by John Basiliga. Today, since we're headed towards the weekend, we're already thinking about Sonia Baldo and the Jessup Hose Company #2 Carnival, which is awesome. We also invite you to try some other things, like the Basiliga Hospitality Group. They've got 3 amazing bar restaurants, and you'll know what I mean when you go there. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Fine dining, the best there is. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre, an old world take on an amazing dining experience. And a Terra 519, downtown Scranton. Gorgeous. Great economical happy hour. You got to check it out. Both places. You'll be happy you did. You don't have to go for the full shooting match. But if you save your pennies, go for the shooting match. But if not, great to hang around the bar and have some apps. Both places. Lee Baker. We lost him at age 85, May 1st. He was from Trucksville. Born in Philadelphia, graduated from Westmoreland High School in 1958. He then served in the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam conflict, where he was the crew chief on a B-52 bomber. He was employed by the former Sterling Industries in Kingston, which is now known as Alltech. Lee was also a ski instructor for Montage Mountain in Moosic, our weather sponsor. Lifelong member of the Trucksville United Methodist Church. He was a Cub Scout leader for Troop 155 and a prior member of Rolling Thunder. Lee enjoyed hunting, skiing, and NASCAR. He's survived by his children, their spouses, his grandson, numerous nieces, nephews, and cousins. Lee Baker. James Battle. We lost him May 4th. He was from Scranton. He was 85 years young. He's survived by his loving wife of 57 years, Judy. Judy McCarthy Battle. They were married in 1968. Educated at West Scranton High School before proudly serving all of us in the U.S. Army and the U.S. National Guard. He served us for more. The city of Scranton as a police officer. I knew Officer Battle. 26 years, longtime patrolman, earning the rank of sergeant prior to his well-deserved retirement. Upon retirement, he never slowed down a bit. He continued to work for Boots and Hank's Towing Company and as a driver for Price Bus, Bolus Trucking, and Gilbride Limousine. He was first and foremost a loving husband, father, and grandfather. He deeply understood his role as a police officer, that it was to serve the community. He often met people in their worst moments, but always treated them with respect and compassion. He loved to drive. He loved a good snowstorm. He was a great storyteller and with an outstanding sense of humor, deeply committed to his Catholic faith. Along with his wife, Judy, he's also survived by his 4 daughters, their husbands, 10 grandchildren, and many nieces and nephews. He was the last of 6 Battle siblings. They all preceded him in passage. James Battle. Our veterans this hour brought to you by the great John Basiliga and his Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast. We all want to know the weather. Now it's so changeable. Well, that's why Montage Mountain brings it to you. They want you to know. Today, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers. A thunderstorm this afternoon, high 85. Tonight, cooler. A little rain late, low 50. Tomorrow, cooler and less humid. A thick cloud cover in the morning. Then times of clouds and sun in the afternoon, 69 degrees. It'll get down to 45 on Thursday. Friday, some sun, then increasing clouds. High is 73, low 47. Saturday, cooler with rain. Outdoor plans can be impacted. However, the race of the Saints will continue. You got to get there. High 55, low 51. Sunday, cloudy with a couple of showers. 62 degrees with a low of 55. Joe Snedeker said that Monday should be about 70, Memorial Day itself. And I tell you, on behalf of Montage Mountain, remember Memorial Day is for our war dead. Please remember that. The Young Rascals. Murph tells us this date, 1967, I think you can see why. They had the #1 hit with Groovin'. And that meant somebody went to Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound and bought the record. That's how you became #1. Bob Cordaro back, and you heard Mark Cuban. Trump has not been getting any credit from this disgraceful media for Trump RX. Maybe because he put his name on it, but that's a separate issue. They just hate him. He's doing incredible things regarding our prescription and our drug prices. Incredible things. And reaching out to people like Mark Cuban, who's had full-blown TDS. And because I'm telling you, this guy's the opposite of the way they portray him. If he was vengeful, would he let Mark Cuban get? I mean, come on, no. Crazy stuff. Hey, quickly on the Myers Baker race. Somebody says basically, and I don't know about this, but that Myers was connected to a murder. Another, I think Baker also ran a pretty dirty campaign. I hope she does better when it comes to running against a Democrat. But, okay. But who started it, I guess you have to say. See, my response is not to get into the mud. My response would be to say that's all he has to say. Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough campaign. But here's the thing. Everyone thinks, oh, Lisa Baker, she's too nice. Well, no. She will put the brass knuckles on if you fool around with her. And he was lying about her with a lot of money. Anyway, somebody texts in the problem with the Democrat Party. They believe we are losing our democracy under President Trump. No, they don't. They want to take our democracy away by increasing the size and power of government. It's the exact opposite. Remember, everything they say, the exact opposite is true. Everything they say we're doing is what they are either doing or intend to do. Please remember that. And you're right. They continue, the listener. Exact opposite. The Democrat Party's for open borders, defund the police, no law and order, no bail laws, foreign paid anti-American protests. Yep. Anti-Israel, anti-American values that make America weak. Gavin Newsom, for God's sake, look what you've done to your state of California. Everyone vacating in droves. Gavin Newsom, open up your eyes and ears. He can't. But the listener concludes your liberal policies suck and no one wants them, except the people benefiting. So let's be clear on that. Hey, let's go to Judy Zabel. She's calling on this Eagle Forum, and that's regarding the library, right, Judy?
Yes, Bob, it is. I have been doing quite a bit of research. I found an organization. It's called Capital Resource Institute. And this person that founded this, I can't remember her name, but she's looked into the school libraries. Mm-hmm. And she has found what she calls pornographic or sexually explicit books in school libraries from several states, Pennsylvania being one of them. If parents want to know if these books are in their library locally, they can go on a website called TakeBackTheClassroom.com.
Okay.
TakeBackTheClassroom.com. Sign up for her newsletter, and then she gives you a link to find your state and your school district. And you can find out how many books are in your school library and what they are.
Neat. That's good.
And then on June 6th, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Rescue and Restore Church in Oliphant, I will be presenting my findings to this and with some options of what we can do. Where do we go from here?
Maybe after that's Saturday, maybe that following Monday, you could call and let us know how it went and all that, okay?
Okay, I'll do that.
June 6th. So there's time for one more call in to remind us about the June 6th event. Did they have that library meeting, or is that today at 4:45?
No, that was Monday.
That was Monday, okay.
Yes, and that committee is a fiduciary. It is not, it lets the local libraries do their own thing. So any complaint that we have about the library system itself, go to your own library, your local library, and talk to that board. They each have their own board. This group only spends our tax buck.
I remember this. I got a book in the bookmobile in 8th grade at St. Anthony's in Dunmore. And it was about Milton Berle. So I figured it would be a comic book, about comedy. It was really, I mean, I was in heaven. I was in 8th grade. But it was, it was R-rated. So you're right.
Yeah.
You've got to be vigilant, even when there's not intent behind it. Some books sneak in that really shouldn't be for kids. So, Judy, I'm so happy you've taken this on, and make sure you call us again before June 6th, okay?
Yes, I will do that. Thank you, Bob, for the time.
Thank you so much. Hey, we've got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll do that. We'll come back. Lots more to talk about, always. Frank Sinatra, who was part of the Rat Pack with Sammy Davis Jr., who Murph tells us had the number one hit this day, 1972. Think of that. That's 11 years apart. These savages attacking the Freedom Riders in Alabama. And Sammy Davis with the number one hit. But Sinatra would not perform or stay at any hotel that wouldn't let Sammy Davis in. And he was quiet about it, but he was firm about it. And he wouldn't perform any place that wouldn't allow Sammy Davis to stay or eat in the restaurant. This savagery, literally within my lifetime, I was only a couple months old. And see, these were real civil rights leaders. These were real courageous. They weren't race hucksters. They weren't making a buck. It wasn't a scam like it is today. Al Sharpton, that idiot lawyer who made, $27 million off career thug? That career thug in Minnesota? George Floyd? Like, this is insane today. Quite amazing. Anyway, it highlights the progress we made, but it also provides context for what this country was and what its huge failings were. Regarding not just race, mental illness, mental retardation, you name it. We've come a long way. Oh, by the way, we've got tickets for Journey. All right? Friday, November 6th, Mohegan Arena, Casey Plaza, Mohegan. We're going to give them away to the 10th caller. I'm going to give Bulldog a workout. The 10th caller for these a pair of tickets to see Journey, November 6th, Mohegan Arena at Casey Plaza, 570-883-0098, 570-883-0098. 10th caller will win the ticks. And in the meantime, I'll go to our man Luciano. Hi, Luciano.
Thank you, Bob, for taking my call, brother. You're a brother in Christ. Don't take this as a personal criticism. I'm just going to call you out on a certain thing you said last week. You stated that Tyler, yes, I was in the military. I don't vote for people because they're in the military and are honorably discharged vet, just like I don't vote for 99% of Latinos throughout this country that are politicians. You stated that under the President Ronald Reagan, his philosophy was never go against, never backstab. I'll put it in my words, never backstab another Republican.
Yes.
And you stated that against Tyler, against Mrs. Baker. How do you explain this, please? My family lives in Texas. Donald Trump is supporting Paxton. Donald Trump also supported that Kentucky senator that lost, Macy, and also Dr. Cassidy from Louisiana.
He opposed Massey, yeah. And he opposed
and
Cassidy.
Both were heavily supported by Donald Trump. How do you explain
No, he was
that?
against Cassidy, the senator in Louisiana, who lost, came in third. He was against Massey, who got pounded, which is both of which is good. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. You said it in a much succinct way. Forgive me for my.
Well, I'm not for everything. I'm not for the style that Trump undertakes.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump does what Donald Trump does the way he does it. I don't always agree with it, but. So
I agree. I don't vote for, as a Christian, I'm a Christian. I go to church on Sunday, thank the good Lord. I don't vote for Donald Trump because of his imperfections. He's imperfect. He has a foul mouth, and
Correct.
he says things that are contrary to Christian values. I agree with that. I voted for him because of his principles, Judeo-Christian values, which is heavily lacking in the modern-day Democratic Party.
By the way,
Bob.
not only does he have the values, and I don't think originally he did. I think he was, agnostic on a lot of things. Anyway, he is now committed to fighting the forces of weakness and evil like no one we've seen in our lifetime. I don't think you had a more religious president than George W. Bush, but he didn't fight the forces of evil and the forces of the left-wing lunacy in any measure, and never as directly as our guy Donald Trump has done.
And one last thing, Bob, pray for Donald Trump, because there's a lot of evil, wicked people that still want to continue try to assassinate him. And how can I vote for a party that supports abortion? Please, Bob, when I go to church on Sunday, the murder is murder. It's evil. It's wicked. It's contrary to Judeo-Christian biblical values, Bob. Thank you, brother.
I'm with you. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Luciano. Well, the calls are coming fast and furious. The Bulldog will let us know if we have a winner. We do have a winner. We do have a winner, guys. And do you have information on the winner or no? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Bulldog. Go ahead. Glenn from Plains Township is the winner. Thank you for your calls. Thanks for your participation. We love knowing you're out there, number one, because we know you are, but then when you call, we know for real. So thank you. And Glenn's going to win those tickets to Journey Friday, November 6th, Mohican Arena at Casey Plaza. I might have to go to that concert because having seen them 42 years ago, maybe I want to see them again. Well, no, 44 years ago, I think it was. Crazy. Anyway, let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. You know it does, baby. Great good morning, everyone. 11:07 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Wednesday, May 20th, year of our Lord 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John. Like James Battle, Scranton, Lee Baker, Trucksville, Brian Taylor, Kingsley, Garth Green, Clark Summit, Scranton Cop, Patrick Zader, Montdale, and Joseph Matsieyashek. He was from Hunlock Creek. We celebrate them all. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to the common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all who hearken here. Bob Cordaro back, and somebody texted in, where are we? Oh, you are such a vile radio host. Mental retardation. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you say because being a Republican, but that language is grossly outdated, especially when I'm personally raising a child with disabilities, that at one time people would use the word retarded, which is totally unacceptable these days. My apology to offending you. And it is a sincere one. I'm 65 years old. Now, first of all, when the stigma of people who, they call it now, have intellectual disabilities, and I looked it up, but please, I want to be very clear on this. And you should be very clear, especially as someone who's raising someone with an intellectual disability. The intent of what someone says is much more important than the words. It really is. So you shouldn't be sitting there waiting to be offended by a word or words. And I apologize if they offended you. I'm not saying, well, I'll say it again. No. By the way, on Tuesday, we're going to have the people from ARC in here. And I've also arranged to have them on Froggy and KRZ. So, I mean, please remember where it comes from. It comes from a place of love for people with intellectual disabilities. I don't happen to believe that mental retardation is a negative word. It's a descriptive. And the listener said, apology accepted, I understand the disconnect. Believe me, no malice, no ill intent. But that's what people were fighting against, not we. I'm not part of any movement back then. They were fighting against to defeat the stigma against people with all of those maladies that I described, including intellectual disabilities. In any event, so that we understand each other better now, and I understand the use of my words better now, thanks to you. Somebody texts in, good morning, Bob. Charles from Scott Township. President Trump has the heart of a warrior. He's like a modern-day David. The Bible says that God uses foolish things of the world to confuse the wise. Yep. All with you. I got knocked off track by that because it did hit me profoundly because there's not a group of people, there's not a more beautiful group of people on the planet than, like, for example, Down syndrome children. Not a more beautiful group of people on the planet, period. Accepting, loving, all that. So, in any event, back to the less... I'm still having problems with this name and this great veteran. Joseph Maciejaszek. I'm going to get it. My Polish genetics demand it. Maciejaszek. I'm going to get it. I am. And my man Bob B, he emailed me in, and he said, yeah, you are pretty good, and he's good at it too. But yeah, this one name, and I had his name wrong. There's a CH in there that I thought was a K sound, and it isn't in Bob's name, his last name. But yeah, I know. So anyway, understanding the disconnect. I'm older. I don't. You got to go. I'm still giving. They switched, for example, certain prayers and responses in the Catholic Mass. I'll probably never catch up with that. I'm just not going to catch up with it. And I'm not dissing the church when I'm saying the wrong response or whatever. But in any event, we change things slowly that you've done and things you've said without malice, just descriptively, for how many years? My goshes. How many years? 40, 50 years? Habits, even bad habits, are hard to break. But I also understand in this case, instead of saying mental retardation or retarded, we say intellectually disabled. That I understand. But at the same time, you're doing something useful for a segment of society that requires it. We've got people with pronouns that are waiting to be offended. So it is difficult to navigate. It's difficult to navigate in today's language and words. Somebody says, hey, Bob LTS, I almost thought that ARC should rebrand their name since it initially started as Association of Retarded Citizens. It's time to move off this word. I don't have a problem with that. But ARC, we all know what ARC is. And they don't use the words anymore. And they're going to bring probably 20 beautiful people and their parents in here and some instructors on Tuesday to all three of our radio stations. And it's going to be a blast. It's going to be beautiful. In any event, I got on a different subject. My man, Eugene Francis Wallace, he writes on the front of the postcard, and I love getting mail, and I've got a bunch of pieces of mail today, but it says, go MS now. So now we know where our buddy Eugene is getting his information from. No wonder he's confused. But he texted in, yo, radio man, Roberto. Number one, lunatics care about global warming. Do renewables. Number two, lunatics care, and he used parentheses to replace the words. Lunatics care about lines of political districts. Number three, lunatics care about immigrants that aren't generalized as murderers, rapists, or drug dealers. Polls show your man is at an all-time low, beneath 40%. Okay. How could you be committed to this insanity, Eugene? You seem reasonably intelligent and coherent, yet you're that crazy. By the way, somebody texted in that our veteran, our deceased veteran, should be pronounced Joseph Machejchik. That makes sense. Machejchik, because it's an EK. How about that? Machejchik. 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 All right. I'm going to mark that down. Machejchik. All right. There we go. Sorry, this is not great radio, but this is important. So thank you for that. I knew what I'm telling you. You guys correct me and inform me, which is, I don't say it in a self-deprecating. I don't say it fake. That's why you guys are part of the show. You make it better. You make it worth coming to every day. And that's why I love coming here every day. That's why I love hanging around with you for 3 hours every day. People say, oh, what do you talk about for 3? How do you do this? I said, there's never enough time. Never even close to enough time to hang around with this gang. The thousands and thousands of you that are with us most days and most hours, but throughout the week at varying times, can't get any better. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, our great sponsors. A little music, a little history, a little music, and a reminder that Roach Supply, if you go to YouTube and you can look up all our old shows. And I've got my all-time great American flag T-shirt on, which that way you'll know that it's today's show. And it also says live. It has a little flag. But it's brought to you by Roach Supply. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. They've been in business for 75 years. Nonagenarian and veteran Ron Roach still at the helm. Visit Roach Supply, R-O-C-H-E, roachsupply.com today. They've been getting it done. They've been fair. They've been honest. They've been great at what they do for all of those years. We'll be back. Paul McCartney and Wings moved up to number 1 with their hit With a Little Luck. This date, 1978, Murph tells us. By the way, some more people texting in with the spelling of our veteran's name. It is Machechek. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. Somebody else, Bob LTS, don't believe the low Trump poll numbers. The liberal media are proven liars over and over again. If Trump's numbers were low, he would never have blown out Thomas Massie and all the Indiana candidates last week. By the way, and Senator Bill Cassidy in Louisiana. So I'm not disagreeing with you. But you remember, primaries are the intense voters. By the way, my man Hoove, I just want to mention a veteran that he posted, particularly on Memorial Day. And he says, remembering First Lieutenant Jeffrey DePrimo. DePrimo, 35, of Pittston, PA, died May 20th, 2008 in Ghazni, Afghanistan. A 1991 Seton Catholic High School graduate, he went on to study music at Marywood University, where he graduated cum laude in 1996. Hoove, thanks for posting that. That's good stuff. That's what this holiday is for. People like that who gave their lives in service of this country. Amen. Amen, Hoove. Tom from Dallas. The Democrat that texted in brought up climate change and a heart for migrants. No, he wrote me a postcard, actually. Has to be willfully ignorant. They have to neglect the fact that all climate change swindler Democrats got paid a fortune for it, including Al Gore, while he was emitting more carbon than the state of Indiana on his own house. Continuing, Tom says, bought a bunch of multi-million-dollar beach houses, and they fly around on private jets. And having compassion and a heart for migrants, again, he's leaving out the illegal immigrant part. And we have laws for a reason. And compassion doesn't mean letting tens of millions of illegals into the country. And there's the point. It wasn't about immigrants yearning to be free. It was about breaking the law, because the Biden administration fully had the power to let in as many legal immigrants as they wanted to. They wanted illegal immigrants because that's the Soros plan. That's the Singham plan. That's the Arabella plan. They've destroyed Europe and their culture. They want to do the same thing in America. These are hateful people. These are the people. They don't build the train set. They're the ones who enjoy destroying it. They don't watch the anthill. They love destroying it. You know the types. Sadly, we're living with those types. They're about destruction. They love destruction. They love to see something and destroy it. They're evil. See, that's what evil does. If the Biden administration wanted more immigrants, they could have increased staffing for legal immigration. They could have let more legal immigrants in and be processed. No, that's not what they wanted. I brought that up over and over again. They wanted illegal immigration because it breaks down a country and a culture, which is the intent of their moneyed people. It's not about compassion. It's about hatred and evil for this country and this culture and what it stands for. Don't fool yourselves, and don't let their lies and slime balls like Gavin Newsom pretend we're Luddites and we're against it. No. They could have done it legally. That's not what they wanted. Don't worry about what people say. Watch what they do, and you'll get the picture. Chuck from Carbondale, happy that the turtle, meaning Mitch McConnell, is out of his seat. Well, he's not out of his seat until the end of the year. And let's hope we get a Republican in there in Kentucky. Great state. All right. My Picardo Jewelers watch says 11:30. That means it's time to hear from our sponsors. And we're going to come back, our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and guess what? Some sunshine. Tina Morocco's here. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute, as always, proudly, patriotically, dutifully brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. That includes 3 great bar restaurants. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. The Far Street Tavern in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. Guess where? On Far Street. 2 of the most incredible fine dining experiences you'll find anywhere. The Stegmeyer Mansion, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Because remember, the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion down the street is one of the best bed and breakfasts in the country. Both on South Franklin Street in downtown Wilkes-Barre. A Terra 519. I'll be there this weekend, guaranteed. Patrick Zader. He was 72 when we lost him April 28th. He was from Montdale. Born in Oliphant, he attended Oliphant High School and served all of us in the United States Army. He fought in the Korean War. Prior to his retirement, he worked at WIA Manufacturing Specialty Records. Patrick's greatest blessing was his children and grandchildren. He enjoyed telling stories. Above all, he was a family man and valued the time he spent with the ones he loved the most. He was preceded in death by his wife, Sharon. his son Patrick, 4 brothers. Surviving are his sons, 3 of them, his daughter, 6 grandchildren, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. That's after they already lost 4. That's Patrick Zader. Joseph Maciejczak. We got it. May 4th. We lost him at age 70. He was from Hunlock Creek. Born in Wilkes-Barre. He attended Wyoming Valley West High School and proudly served his country in the United States Army. Following his military service, he went on to build a career as a private contractor and later in life owned his own butcher shop. An avid outdoorsman, Joseph found great joy in hunting and fishing. He was a member of the Lake Silkworth Sportsman's Club. He's survived by his daughter, 2 sons, his daughter's husband, and his grandson, Luke. Joseph Maciejczak. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. I never know when they're going to choke me up with these tributes, but we nailed that name, didn't we? Thank you to you guys. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang up at Montage Mountain Resorts. They are getting ready for summer. Oh, it's going to be a great summer up there. And by the way, the Wagyu burger, always ready. Today, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon. High 85. Tonight, cooler, a little rain late, low 50. Tomorrow, it's going to be a cooler day, less humid, thick cloud cover in the morning, then times of clouds and sun in the afternoon, high 69. Not a bad day, low 45. Friday, some sun, then increasing clouds, high 73, low 47. So a couple days there. Then for race day, up in Jessup. Saturday, it'll be cooler with rain. Outdoor plans can be impacted, but there's plenty of bars to duck into up at the Race of the Saints. High 55, low 51. And again, don't forget the Jessup Hose Company number 2 Carnival all weekend. Sunday, when they're going to have the Toby Keith tribute up at the Jessup Carnival, cloudy with a couple of showers, high 62, low 55 degrees. And that's your weather, brought to you by our great friends at Montage Mountain, where it's 81 degrees as we speak. She picked this theme song, and it is just perfect, isn't it? Well, you say who? You know who. Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. She is the best. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. You could reach her through Sotheby's in Naples or on any social media, including her own website, Tina Morocco, Muracco, either .com for her website or on Facebook. I don't even know them all. Tina Morocco, Muracco. That's the woman we're talking about, and that's who we're talking to. Tina, how are you today?
I am absolutely fantastic, Bob. How are you?
I just get so enthusiastic. You posted on Instagram that beautiful picture of the video of the boat slowly sailing, or it was either motoring past the back of your. Oh, I said, oh,
Naples Bay, right on Naples Bay.
Yeah, would that be? That was just great. It's just this whole Southwest Florida, and the more we talk to you, the more I'm loving it. and I'm sure you got someplace special for us today.
I do. Well, today I wanted to talk about, we had a customer from Clark Summit come over the weekend, and him and his wife bought in River Hall. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about River Hall, the Golf and Country Club, and the greater River Hall area.
What is that? H-A-U-L? River what?
No, Hall, River Hall.
Oh, River Hall. How about that? That's a different name. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just northeast of Fort Myers. It's in Alva. Alva's the city, northeast of Fort Myers, just about 15 minutes northeast of downtown Fort Myers, the River District, where everything's kind of happening there, you know. But River Hall is a little bit more laid back. One of the things I love about River Hall makes it stand out. When you drive into River Hall, it's an enormous community, but it feels very southern. And when I say southern, I'm not talking about tropical, like palm trees or anything. It's very much like those giant live oaks that are very shady with the Spanish moss coming down.
Neat.
And it's like the amenity centers there are, you know, they're old southern, like wraparound porches. You know, it's designed very much like, a deep South community, which is really pretty and just something different here in Southwest Florida. And so there's a couple different subdivisions in River Hall, and the customers from Clark Summit, they purchased in River Hall Golf and Country Club. Now, that community is a bundled golf community. So when you purchase there, the golf is included with your residency. So they got a villa there. And so as part of their HOA fees, their golf membership is included. So basically, that means you golf for free, you know, as part of your HOA fees. So when you go to golf, you're just paying for the cart fee, you know, just very inexpensive. Mm-hmm. But it's a nice community. They've got a restaurant there. They've got a bunker bar, which is really cool. It's right on the pool overlooking the golf course, outdoor bar restaurant type of thing. They've got Hampton Lakes is another subdivision in there. And Hampton Lakes has a giant resort-style pool, like a lagoon-style pool. And it has a fitness center. It's kind of a two-story fitness center. All the machines overlook the pool. So, you know, you're kind of working out, looking at the pool, which is very tough, you know. And then, they also have a 55-plus community there, which is Cascades. And that Cascades has nice amenities, too. But River Hall's it's nice, too, because the price points there are not as high as Fort Myers or Bonita Springs or Naples. They're a little bit more affordable. The properties there are starting around $250,000. They go all the way up to about $1.5 million. They have condos, villas, single-family homes, and then they have pretty big estate homes there, too. But like I said, the price points are nicer. The HOA fees for the single-family homes are not overly expensive for the amount of amenities that you get. So, and the location, you know, close to downtown Fort Myers. So if you want a night out in some of the best restaurants and, you know, ambiance around here, downtown Fort Myers is right there, which is great.
And you're right at the airport, too, where we've now got direct flights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're about 20 minutes from the airport.
Let me ask you a question. So these particular clients, they come from Clark Summit. Were they looking at River Hall when they came to? So
no.
you guys figured it out together, which is probably the best way to do this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So we talked about what they were looking for, and River Hall wasn't on their radar, but you know, to me, it matched a lot of things that, you know, they were interested in. So we went to take a look, and, you know, I think they really like it there. Yeah. And I don't blame them. It's a beautiful community, and I think it's a hidden gem, really, in Southwest Florida.
How neat is that? Mm-hmm. Well, that's great stuff. River Hall. And every time we find one of these new places that I've never heard of, I'm like, wow, we need Tina Morocco.
There's lots to see and do and learn from around here. That's for sure.
Gosh, well, we'll get to talk to you again later this week.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'll be on Friday, I think.
Good, love it. All right, okay. Tina Morocco, Sotheby's International Real Estate, Naples, Florida. You could reach her there or through TinaMorocco.com, Muracco, and that Tina Morocco, Muracco, any social media, right, Tina?
Right.
All
I'm on it.
Thank you so much. River Hall. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Yeah. I had no idea that was 38 Special. Murph tells us that's who it was. 1989, this date, the number one adults charts hit with Second Chance. Biden banner disgrace. Day 157. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Look them up on their Facebook page. Look them up on their website. Let them know what you think in polite language. How idiotic they are. They put a banner up for Joe Biden, a hometown hero banner meant for veterans. Joe Biden dodged service in this military on a number of occasions and did not serve. Stolen valor. Day 157, Biden banner disgrace. So we're back. Trump is speaking at the Coast Guard Academy graduation. Pretty neat. I got this thing from the Villages, and you heard Tina Morocco mention over 55 community, and you forget how old you are. I'm thinking there's going to be thousands of people younger than me in an older than 55 community. Oh, God, crazy stuff. But the election, for those of you who did vote, thank you. And I truly mean that. By the way, Jim from Hazelton said he sent me pictures. Jim, you can only send them to my website. I don't get them on this text. Just so you're aware. Somebody texted in, John Fetterman on Facts. Hard to believe the Democrat Party lost the union vote. Well, of course they did. They're using the unions. And I'm talking about, when you say union vote, by the way, I mean real unions, not government employee unions. Big difference. By the way, we're finishing, as per Murph, with Joe Cocker. Because on this date, 1944, Murph tells us he was born in Sheffield, West Riding, Yorkshire, England. We lost him in 2014 from lung cancer at age, I think he was only 70. Crawford, Colorado. We picked Feeling All Right to wrap up the show. Isn't that great? And so there we go. That's how we'll finish. Somebody texting in appropriately. Bob, the evil wealth barons want a new world order, one world government to control the masses while they live like kings and queens. and the people become slaves to the state. And I just ran across a little audio that we're going to play in the show to open it tomorrow to that effect. These people in leadership are bad. They're evil. They're self-serving. Some are a combination of all of that. But we're on the right track with Donald Trump. For all his silliness, for all his mistakes, at least in terms of form, we're on track. We got to expose them, tear them down. All right, so Jim says that he sent it to me in my email, and I don't have it. So you know. My email, if you want to reach me, Robert.Cordaro, Cordaro, at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Robert.Cordaro at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Get in touch. Get in touch. Well, thank you for everybody being with. Oh, but I missed this. My man Gus, his name is Thomas, but he goes Gus. He sent me in some great stuff. 4 bullet points. I don't have time to get into them here, but I want to thank Gus. He sent me a snail mail letter, and he made a lot of good points. So, Gus, I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged you for what you did. Guys, as we approach Memorial Day, let's remember our veterans. Let's remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and those who passed on. Like Joseph Machachek, Hunlock Creek, Patrick Zader, Montdale, James Battle, Scranton, Lee Baker, Trucksville, Brian Taylor, Kingsley, Garf Green, Clark Summit. Veterans we've lost this year, but celebrated today, thanks to John Basiliga. Guys, we're out of time here. The Sue Henry Show's next, the Rob O'Donnell Show after that. But for now, I've got to say adios and gavel to a close. Today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning. Meeting adjourned. Have a great afternoon.